Hello again. I'm going to be playing some Songs of Six, and I'm going to be bringing you along with me whilst talking softly so that you can probably just sleep or something. Okay? Does that sound good? Good. Songs of Six is an incredible game. I've played it, well, for a lot of hours, never particularly well. In fact, it's one of the first games that was on my main channel. And I want to do a playthrough for another video, but I feel like I need to put a load more time into it first, so that I'm better at the video game. Yeah? Okay. And I thought I might as well let you come along for that. So I'm going to make Bug People my faction name and my ruler name Peter Parker. Because what I want to do is have a... I don't want to say ethno-state, but kind of is undeniably an ethno-state of bug people. That, yes. It sounds bad when you say it. When you say ethno-state, it's a bad word, but it's okay. This is a video game. Now, I have made numerous attempts at this playthrough, and I haven't gotten particularly far whilst feeling like things are going well. So, hopefully this time will be different. I don't have any particularly good reason why it would be different. I'm just kind of hoping that this will be the time. And you never know, right? So let's just figure it out. I need to find a space on the map which has a warm climate and a good mixture of preferably some mountainous terrain, good access to clay and stone, among other things, obviously. And nothing great is coming up so far. The warm areas tend to be on the south of the map in this game. This might be a decent one. Not much forest, which is kind of not a huge problem for the bug people. There's also not much clay here, though, which wouldn't be great. My bug people prefer it warm. I may actually just have to regenerate. I'm not finding anywhere. It's so nice that you can just click a button to regenerate the world in this. Okay, this might be more like it. A bit more balanced. More mountain would be nicer, though. Here we go. I think this is probably the one. Yeah, near the Lake of Rania, in the Nimbaldir Hills. So when you choose where you're going to live, it generates all of the other factions, and then we get to see who our neighbours are. The Usurpators and the Koninks. Looks like we've surrounded ourselves with... are they the dwarves? I think they're... Are they the dwarf people? Interesting that they appear to all live... All of my own peoples have congregated on the water side there. Well, anyway. Let's get into it. So yeah, this is something I've wanted to do for a while. Just live record some relaxed gameplay. I often get people commenting on videos, you know, is your recording available to watch anywhere? And the answer is, of course, no. Because when I'm recording, I'm usually watching YouTube videos or something. So this is that thing that people sometimes ask me for. This is that. Right, so there's ore there. More ore there. Stone, coal and stone and ore all next to each other. That's a very good spot. More ore, gems. Sithilon. Where is our clay? Probably in this. Okay, yeah. Whoa, big, singular big clay area here down in the river. Down by the river. Which is far away from where I want to be, which is up here. So I'm gonna sort of inevitably end up choosing to settle somewhere kind of in this space here. And carting stuff to and fro. But clay is pretty important early on for the Garthemi, as they furnish their homes with it. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and plop our throne room down here. And then start planning some stuff out. First things first, let's build some apartments, or actually some longhouses to house our initial few. We'll just go ahead and build them out of stone from the get. Garthemi like to live in stone buildings, so we're just going to do that, get the game running slowly, and tell them to clear some stone and to fell some trees, and then build a warehouse with the proceeds. Once again out of stone. So another thing that the Garthemi enjoy is to live in round buildings. But that tends to lead to some pretty inefficiently designed buildings as well, which is absolutely fine. I have no problem with my buildings being horrendously inefficient, if it means they can be round and bug-like in nature. Because we're living that bug life here. A Bug's Life. One of the movies of all time. But I typically, to get the basics done, I just make some normal buildings. We'll worry about roundness a little bit later on. And you can run this game at some absolutely bonkers, time scales, but I do find it best to run things a little bit slower at first, or you will, you'll run into problems and a lot of things will just pass you by without you really noticing. Right, once our subjects get a little bit happier, which is to say once they have homes, among other things, more of them will start to arrive, so we'd best start growing food for them. I didn't check how the soil is here. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Not amazing, but not bad. So we're probably going to run some farms here. Yes. Let's just start with a vegetable farm. And a fruit farm. That's not the best soil. Oh, okay. I slightly overestimated where that rich soil is. Let's go ahead and bin that and put it over here instead. It's actually very mixed. That's annoying. It's not a huge deal. It isn't a huge deal. Stuff still grows, but it would have been nice to be over here in this enormous area of rich soil, nonetheless. We'll do that instead then. And put the fruit farm there in that spot. And why? Okay, I'll leave I'll leave grain until later. I'm gonna need to grab some fruit and veg with which to seed those farms. Like so. And they'll eventually get to work on that. But first things first is going to be housing and storage, really, which is obviously taking them a while to pull together. Because they're lazy bug people. No, just because it takes a while. When you only have 10 people and they have to gather all of the materials themselves. Okay, well. Now I feel like they are actually lazy people. Somebody died of... Oh no, multiple people died of heat stroke. Oh no, it's really hot. Uh-oh. Might have misplayed this one. Quick, dig a mass grave and make it circular. Well, they might all die. Some of you may die. But if that's just, you know, if that's how it has to be, then that's how it has to be. Let's set up our warehouse. In the meantime, oh dear, this has gone badly. So far. We can turn it around. We can turn it around, I believe. It really is very hot though, huh? Not a whole lot I can do about that. And it's autumn. That is troubling. I mean, they're just dying whilst working in the fields. Speaking of working in the fields, they actually are already. That was nice and quick. Obviously, it's a shame that some of them had to die doing it, but, you know. At least we're getting something done. We are going to have to deal with the heat problem, though. And the way to do that is going to be pools. If we had just settled right on top of the water, that would have also been pretty good, but chose not to do that. Let's go ahead and make a Baltic crawler breeder, which is the big bug things that the bug people farm for meat. It's weird. Don't ask questions about it. Big ol' grubs. Big ol' grubs. And yes, the circle is quite inefficient. But you cannot disagree that it is circular and that that is good. If you're a bug person, anyway. Loyalty is decreasing, I'm being told. Yeah, that will happen, unfortunately. You let a few people die of heat stroke, and all of a sudden loyalty is decreasing. That's okay. Let it decrease, that's what I say. Let's build these guys a well. We'll pop it out here next to the mass grave. And a stage for people to speak from. Very important stuff. I'm actually going to force some specific person to work in the warehouse as well. Just find it's nice to have a dedicated hauler early on. Alright, progress on the Baltic crawlers. We are going to have to get some... Oh no, we're not. We have some livestock. That's good. I don't know where that came from, but I'm glad we have it because we're going to need it. To kind of seed this farm, as it were. Right, very good. We need more houses, I think, at this point. Let me just copy area. Back that up on there. That didn't really seem to work. That's okay. Okay, a food stall for these people to actually... Oh, well, sorry, these bug people to actually get their food distributed from. Does that line up? No. Does that? Yes, it does. Alright. Do another one. No, have to do it one more. Never mind, it's the outwards that was the problem. There we go. I'm just, making the area as small as it can be and still be functional. I'm going to do the same thing for a market, which is where they would get things like clothing and other luxuries. None of which they will have for a while. But on that note, let's also make an auroch pasture. This one can be square, because it contains cows, essentially, not giant bug creatures. Giant bug creatures live in round enclosures, everyone knows that. Not sure where to put it. I'm just going to put it up here. There we go. Alright, build my pretties. We need more houses. I suppose we ought to set up a woodcutter as well, so that we have a constant and steady-ish source of wood. I'm not going to make it too big, though, because a lot of people can work in quite a small one of these. Something else we need to do before that we'll build is make a carpenter. for the manufacture of furniture. Very good. Did I make them? Oh, no, make that out of stone, please. Thank you. Right, we are going to have to massively and rapidly expand the farming. But the focus really wants to be the meat. Because that's what the Garthimi like. They don't know much about art, but they know what they like. Put it that way. And what they like is meat, to be clear. Is this a good Balticrawler breeder? It's not very moist. It's better if it's more moist, I believe. I could be wrong about that, though. Does it have to be moist? Moisture does not appear to be affecting the output. Insulation does, and that's why I only gave the Balticrawler breeder one doorway there. Because I've made that mistake before. Okay, there we go. We can now seed the Auroch pasture with livestock as well. It's going to take a little while for the livestock to kind of expand. Pastures not only produce their, product, but they also produce livestock very slowly, which you need to seed further further farms. So some of these dwarfy people, I believe they're dwarves, are reaching out to give us free stuff, which is nice of them. I will reach out in return very soon and offer them a trade deal, because having trade partners is essential. I'm going to go ahead and pretty much immediately plan another Balticrawler orb. I like to imagine it's a geodesic dome full of larvae. Right, we're making furniture now. We need more housing again. I keep trying to do that wrong. Let's make some slightly nicer housing. Again, this is a bit gritty right now. And I don't mean the gritty. And we'll work on that, but not right now. Not right now. Just get the basics done, and then we'll work on hitting the gritty. Let's give them access to some shrines as well. So most of the Garthimi worship Aminon, so we'll make a shrine to Aminon. Fancy that. We'll put it right next to the mass grave. Yeah. But then some also worship Shmalor, so, you know, we'll give them a shrine too. And our diligent little insect people will work away. So the reason I wanted an Auroch pasture, by the way, is because they will also produce leather for us, which we can use to make leather things, obviously. Which basically means clothing. We'll use it for other stuff at some point, but initially, just pretty much clothing exclusively. But we'll worry about that once it's actually being productive, because it's currently, well, it's got 2 adult animals out of a potential 7 right now. Our pastures, other than Balticrawler breeders, will never be particularly productive anyway, because Garthemi just aren't very good at it. So it's important to not worry about it too much and focus instead on just making more rather than trying to make everything perfect. In fact, in all likelihood, we will eventually end up importing much of our basic resources to make up for our terrible abilities. Right, I'm going to start to want this clay pretty soon. The Garthemi need it for many things. They have a particular brand of fungal paving that they like, as well as their humidifiers, which are both made of clay. So I'm going to go ahead and plan a clay pit down here, but I don't necessarily envision it actually being productive for quite a while. They cost a lot of furniture if you want to make them efficient. You see, you use these auxiliaries to increase the efficiency of a production building or what have you. And to make most mines efficient, you need vast quantities of them, which would make this cost, I'm just finding out, about 450 furniture. Oh, we've unlocked the laboratory. So I'm going to go ahead and not make that just yet, because that's a lot of furniture. So yeah, we now have access to research as well. We start with 25 innovation, and if we want any more, we have to make laboratories. We get that just from the level grants us some, and we can use innovation to generally make things more efficient, and then that innovation turns into knowledge that you can then use to unlock new shiny things. I think that I wouldn't be crazy to spend a load of innovation on making my Balticrawler breeders more efficient. I think that. And the point of these videos is not for you to see how bad I am at a game and tell me how to do it properly. But if you want to, by all means let me know. I may or may not take your point to heart and do anything about it. So where's my nearest stone? Gem deposits. Green gem deposits. I mean, we probably want to start mining gems. We could make a lot of money. Okay, so there's stone not too far into the mountain there. Oh, there's also stone there not too far in, but it's a pretty small deposit. There is some in an exposed bit of cave up here, which is nice. So what we're going to want to do is dig a straight path up like this. And that'll take a while. Mining a little channel like that takes some doing, but it'll get done. I believe. I believe. In the meantime, we're just kind of waiting for some stuff to get done. We're not making anywhere near enough food, I will say. So I might have to expand the farms already. Let's go ahead and do that like that. Not like that. That was wrong. Not how I wanted to do that at all. Since farms these size don't actually employ that many people, might as well just bang a load of them out. To at least try and support the population. We'll rely entirely on meat sooner or later. But right now, our Baltic crawlers are all babies, so they don't, you know, they don't make much meat when they're babies. It'll take them a while to mature, and then these Baltic crawler domes will make considerably more food. Got 44 people not permanently employed right now. Once we harvest this fruit, 10 more people will become employed, and oh, a load of people have just become employed at the woodcutter. Only need to, I think 10 is probably enough there. That will make about 40 wood per day. Allegedly. Which is almost definitely enough right now. A couple more people just got employed as Baltic crawler breeders. Very good, very good. Let's go ahead and make a toilet. A big old toilet. And this is going to be round. I want the people to have a nice round place to do their stinky business. And I'm trying to make this more efficiently constructed with some pillars there, because having too much unsupported ceiling makes a building much more expensive. Let's do something like this. I need more basins. But not that many more. I've got to maximize the efficiency of this toilet. Very good. I'm just going to cut these little bits off. It's circular enough like that. And then pop some doors on it. This is not actually necessarily always a great idea to have so many doors. It's obviously nice for people to be able to come in and out of buildings from multiple directions for efficiency's sake, but having too many doorways will make buildings less insulated, which makes them degrade faster. Speaking of degradation, let's make a janitor. Somebody to maintain the buildings. I'm just going to plop that down. Let's go over. Try not to build on the rich soil, so I'm just going to pop it over here. Somewhere. Undecided. Over here. They'll work in a pretty big radius. It's not a huge deal. That is efficient enough. For me. It's good enough for government work. Alright, we're about to hit 100 people here. So that's what I had set it to automatically approve immigrants for, so I'm going to bump that to 200. At a certain point, we will want to just start breeding. Yes. Breeding. need to pass some time here. Let the farms work and such. We don't have enough food. That is 100% true. That is absolutely correct. Something that I can resolve with a hunter or two. Kind of a stopgap solution, but it'll do. How big did I make that? 12 by 12. Kind of weirdly laid out. Never really clocked that. How the butcher table is so weirdly sized. A fantastic soundtrack, by the way. Just, you know, as a point. Alright, well, that's going to have to be efficient enough. Unless I can squeeze in another couple of utilities here. Which I can, obviously. There we go. Now, that's what I call efficient. Alright, very quickly please build that so that we... Yes, yes, yes. Ah, beans. It's waiting on furniture. It's always waiting on furniture, let me tell you. We make 6 of the stuff a day. But it's currently all going towards... it's all going towards the lavatory. Ah, there we go. Our bolter crawler breeder, the first one here, now actually has adult bolter crawlers, meaning it's making 18 meat per day, which I think is pretty much as this one could make. Yeah, efficiency 996. I don't think moisture affects. I think I might be wrong about that. I'll find out. I think I'm almost certainly wrong about that. Yeah, I'm definitely wrong about that. It's interesting that that isn't represented in the production stat, though. We won't think about that too much. I'll make some more moist farms soon. We have lost quite a lot of people to starvation whilst waiting for this hunter to be built, unfortunately. But that's okay, it happens from time to time in a city-state. Some people starve to death, you know how it is. There we go, the lavatory is finally built, so people can now relieve themselves in style and comfort. And that immediately had our population kind of boom again. Let's make a small laboratory, because I want to be able to do laboratory things. You know what, this will also be round. Because why not? Why shouldn't I make it round? Oh right, because it's really awkward, yeah. I knew that, of course, I was testing you. It's insanely awkward, actually. You might say it's too awkward. I'm going to have to adjust the shape slightly. Need to match this side. 1, 2, 3. Is that not right? Not quite enough. I don't think that's equal, and I can't quite figure. Oh, I see. Neither is that. There we go. Now it's still not the same. You know what? This side gets shorter. There we go. Did that make things any better? Yes, it did. Okay, cool. This is actually quite a big laboratory. I did say not too big, but you know, best laid plans and all that. And we'll put some doors there. Yeah, you don't really want to have too many people employed. Speaking of people need houses. You don't really want to have too many people employed in the laboratories compared to industry, because the people in the laboratories, if they too greatly outnumber the people in industry, you know, the innovations that they provide, whilst increasing the efficiency of your industries, could potentially outweigh the gain of just having those people working in industry in the first place. You understand? Makes sense? I think that makes sense to you, doesn't it? Can we please make sure that we finish the hunter first? I should maybe have let them finish that before I... Okay, they're good. They're good. They're working. They're working on it. Because that should help us out a great deal. Yeah. Making 40 meat per day. Considering we eat 33 of it per day at the moment, that's good. That means we will stockpile a little bit of meat while we wait for our other Balticrawler breeder to get underway. All of the livestock is currently going towards the Auroch pasture. I could also just set up a trade deal with my neighbours and buy in some livestock, but we'll make our own slowly, so it's not a huge deal. Alright, the housing problem is resolved for the moment. And these fields are now working as well, which is nice. It's still, you know, it's very hard to produce enough food for the bug people from farms. They're really not very good at anything. Let's actually just kind of show you that by selecting one of them. So bug people, bug people, bug people, bug people. They're pretty crap. At most things. I'm sure I can see... Here we go. You'll be in here, right? What they like and what they do. So they have much less needs, you know, they... The rate at which the need of bowel movement increases is only a quarter of the normal, which, you know, see, they don't bathe as much either. It's good stuff. They're pretty easy to please, but they are also unfulfilled by most work, and also really bad at it. Yes. They're not Okay, I say really bad. They have a 75% skill in vegetable farms, for example. It's easy to look at this and think they have a 10% skill, but that is actually the Argonosh, which are the big spider people. Not the Garthemi, anyway, so yes. See, Argonosh. So they're pretty bad at it, but they're not as bad as... I may have overstated their badness at most work, but they are pretty crap. But on the upside, they also don't need to poop as much. This tunnel is nearly deep enough in the mountain for us to get some stone. And I think that I actually will kind of work on getting a gem mine going relatively early. So let's sort of excavate some of this deposit here. Oh my god, there's so many gems. And this one is a particularly good gem deposit. Hang on, screw this one. Get this gem deposit instead. I may be able to have this overlay on whilst seeing what's there, but I don't know. I don't know that for sure. Doesn't look like it. Once they've mined that out a bit, we'll, oh, I need to research gem mines. Yeah, that makes sense. It would be a bit overpowered. Which costs... Oh, only... Well, only. It costs 50 innovation. That's not actually so bad. Considering I can then just sell them off to the neighbours for presumably decent money, right? 418. Well, that's buying price. Apparently I can sell them for 180, just about. Which is pretty good going compared to, like, I don't know, stone, which is actually also worth a surprising amount. Mushrooms are worth a lot too. We're not very good at mushrooms. That said, we're not very good at gems either. We're Garthemi. We aren't necessarily particularly good at anything. But we are many. Anyway, I'm going to start digging up some gems and selling them. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. Oh, I built this second warehouse and forgot to set it up. This one doesn't store food. Or livestock, for that matter. This one stores some leather, and therefore also some clothing. And let's also say this one stores gems, since we're going to be mining them. And coal, since we're also going to be mining that. Oh yeah, of course, we had a load of coal given to us by our neighbours. I forgot about that. So I did think that we should be building up meat, but of course then, because we had enough meat, more people showed up, and now we, once again, need more meat. That's how this works. So I'm going to make another hunter. When in doubt, hunt more. Right? Yeah. Thought so. I think I probably will also start farming some grain and baking some bread at this point. Let's just go ahead and make a big grain farm. Not round, square. Farms are squares. Everybody knows that. Don't be so ridiculous. Big grain farm. 15.069 farmers type grain farm. We currently have 106 unused workforce. My goodness. Let's make a... I was going to say another carpenter, but let's actually just make a bigger carpenter. And you know what? This one is going to be a circle. And I'm going to build it right next to our woodcutter, which can probably employ more people at this point too. Wrong tool. I think I already explained why I put pillars in the middle of these rooms. In case I didn't, I did. I remember it now, I did. I'm going to say it again though. It's because having too much unsupported ceiling makes the construction much more expensive, so you want to avoid that where possible. Now you know. You already knew, but now you double know. It's really upsetting me that I can't cut off a part of the room even if it's a completely useless... Wait. Of course. If that's a problem, just don't build that part of the room. If you don't need it, don't build it. God, I'm a genius. Need somewhere to put the furniture. Need some more auxiliaries. We'll bang them up against the back edge here. And then stick some doors on it and call it a day. Now that is a furniture factory. It's built out of stone, of course. You know them Garthemi, they like their stone. Which is why we were digging to that stone mine, but that did get rather derailed. We are once again out of food. Kind of an eternal problem. I can actually just say, you know, go and hunt these bolter crawler, please, to get a quick burst of the schmeat. But that does rely on people. Oh, there they go. Yeah, they came and dragged away the bolter crawlers. So that will give us a little bit of reprieve from starvation, momentary reprieve. Because these guys really do eat meat so fast, it's crazy. They go absolutely nutso for the meat. But there we go, that's a big heap of meat. It would be good if you also got livestock from doing that, but that doesn't really make sense, so you don't. Just go out and trap bolter crawlers. I think they probably like it better in captivity anyway. I mean, they're giant centipede things. What do they care whether or not there's a fence around them? Oh, of course, I'm going to need to forage some grain to actually make this farm as well. And then, yes, I will also need to make a bakery to turn that into bread, but I will do that when the time comes. Right, there we go. Second carpenter on the go. This should help. Although I don't think we're making enough wood to fuel it, which isn't ideal. But a solvable problem for sure. Very quickly solvable by just placing another woodcutter. Easy as that. Crazy stuff. Otherwise, we'll just burn through all of the wood that we've stockpiled because we have quite a bit in the warehouses. Man, we're really not producing a whole lot of livestock, huh? We now employ over 50 carpenters. Nice. Because turns out I made that add up to exactly 50. I did that deliberately to get that boost, obviously. Yes. Huh. Yes. Right, so, why are we not making any livestock? Does it just not produce any if it's lower than 1? I assumed that it meant that it produced, you know, an average of 0.75, but, we appear to just be producing none. Or is it just really, really slow? It's just really, really slow. I don't know where they're going, though. I saw the number go up and then down again. But where did it go? Oh, something obviously finished because we don't have enough workers anymore. What's caused that? Oh, this big-ass grain farm. No, that's not finished yet. Where did all of the workers go, then? Where'd they all go, huh? Oh, the laboratory. Yes, of course. Right, well, let's take from the secondary woodcutter. Oh, and also we can actually just straight up get more people. The other way to solve that problem, just get more people. More people need more houses. Somebody tell that to... Never mind. Alright, we're running our food down again, of course. We only had a temporary solution to that problem. Nothing even remotely close to permanent. So, yeah. Need to resolve that. Currently sat on 38 points of innovation, which we could use to make our hunters way more efficient. Of course. But I kind of see the hunters as a temporary solution, so I don't really want to rely on that too much. I think I'm going to have to import some livestock to get these farms going. Let's talk to our friends real quick. I forget how to do that. There we go. Trade, see what they want. Some money, tiny bit of fruit and some furniture. Can do. So now we can go ahead and make some import and export depots. And just pop them somewhere, literally anywhere, to be honest. Do we have any knowledge yet? Yes, we do. Now that we have a laboratory, we have knowledge, which means that I can research paved roads. Very good. And also swimming pools, because as I said, people are going to keep dying of horrible heat death if we don't do that. It is a bit of a thing, though. You have to run from canals and stuff. Right, import livestock. Just, you know, buy what we can, basically. There we go. We have 29 livestock inbound now, and it's going to cost us all of the money that we had, but that's how it goes. It will get our farms producing, and that's, you know, more important. So I do think these are... I may have accidentally made these terrible by virtue of putting them on the least moist ground we have available. We might end up having to make some big old Baltic roller breeders down here on the coast, basically. Let me just put the moisture overlay on. Somebody turn on the moisture overlay. I need to see how wet it is. Can I make that symmetrical? I like symmetry. I think most people do. I believe it's in our nature. That will do. Let's put some kind of pillars in, as it were, to make this a little bit more efficient. Don't want to have to drag too many resources down here. That does cut a lot of the workers away, though, which obviously reduces the output. Output 5.2, output 4.1, just to save a little bit of wood. Nah, that's not worth it. That's going to take a while to build, but, I mean, it is what it is. It will make food. That's quite important. And I can use some of our stone to build a road down here now. Cobblestone road, yes. Something like that. We may actually be producing enough meat, actually. How many times can I say actually? We might be producing enough meat at this point. Our hunters are doing very well, and we have more animals now. Yes, okay, okay, very good. Things are looking up. Things are looking up in the meat rooms. Yes, my little insects, my little ants. Build a path for me. Yes. Yes. I just really like seeing them work. And not in, well, kind of in a despotic way, but, you know, that's the point. It's going to take a while to get all the materials down here for this, isn't it? Partially because we don't actually have the materials. You know what? That wasn't as bad as I expected, actually. And I know that I'm blasting through on insane speed right now. Oops, I've trapped somebody. Hold please. Let me free you. Is he going to die before he gets freed? I think he's probably going to die. If nobody claims this... There you go, they freed him. Incredible. Alright, so this... Yes, this has 100%. Okay. Current average is 189% moist. Wow. Really only 6 animals? Is that way smaller than I thought it was? Yeah, I think that's way smaller than I thought it was. Oh well. Oh yeah, I suppose when I look at it here on the zoomed out map, it's not that many more tiles than the circular ones I was making. But that means we'll be able to kind of get a decent idea of how much difference the moisturizing makes. Oh, the moisture is applying a multiplier to the skill here. Skill that gets put into the tending, multiplying the output. Moisture 0.53 there. Well, I'm not going to pretend to understand exactly what that means. But here we can see that it's at 0.81. I do not understand. I'm okay with not understanding generally. I've accepted that I do it very often. Right, speaking of not understanding, it's not actually relevant. So we are now into here. Let's expose some more of this stone deposit so that we can make a stone mine. But perhaps more importantly, let's do clay as well. So there's a good clay deposit here. Yes, a much better clay deposit. Well, a 10% better clay deposit across the water. So let's go for that one. Clay pit. It's going to be quite a lot to build that. I may just leave it on 50% efficiency though, because it's going to cost so much furniture. Oh, we have a lot of furniture though, actually. So we can boost those numbers up a bit. Of course, I am actually making quite a bit of furniture, aren't I? So yeah, let's take that to about 70-something%. I don't want to blast literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of more furniture than I need to at the problem, but there we go. And then build this kind of road across here as well. Join it up with the existing one. Yep, you can indeed resettle if you find that your city is crumbling to dust, but we don't need to think about that just yet. Thank you very much, game. We may get there, but not yet. Come on now. Alrighty, so I think that I can actually set up I think that I can set up warehouses to kind of be intermediary sort of warehouses. Although I may be thinking of the prioritized fetching allows workers to fetch from all other storage rooms that are not prioritized. Yeah, so I could set a warehouse up down here to hold clay. Oh, speaking, we actually have... I forgot I made a grain farm. I don't know if I even have anywhere to store grain. I don't. I best resolve that. I'm going to just put a warehouse for grain storage down there. Yeah, I could put a warehouse down here to keep the clay in, but there is also the hauler. But I don't know... Fetches a designated resource and hauls it to a location. Haulers have an increased carry capacity. Let's build one of those down here and see. I don't know exactly how they work, so I'm just going to kind of build one to find out. I think we're going to need more stone as well. We can cancel this foraging job as well at this point. Cancel jobs. There we go. Because we probably don't need odd jobbers heading out and doing that forever. At this point we are going to run into workforce problems as well, because it's getting harder and harder to attract more people. I would have to start doing things like increasing the amount of food people can get, and improving their living situation, which is just so dull. That's just not really how we do things. I think they don't quite have enough access to religion right now, but we can kind of resolve that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and unlock improved entertainment and the markets upgrade. And we'll save some knowledge. I don't want to spaff it all up the wall right now. But that will let us... Oopsie. That would let us spend those resources, some stone, some furniture, and some pottery to upgrade the market, which would improve its well, its abilities. Fine speech. Where is that? It's not the upgrade that I thought it was. Where are you? Oh, it's actually in here. Along the upgrade tree for housing. So what I just unlocked was actually the stage, which, I mean, you know, fine. It's another need to fill. Why is there no odd number? Oh, there is. Very good. So that just requires some wood and furniture, and that will fill another need and hopefully give us a kind of fresh wave of immigration by making people happier. Yes, indeed, making people happier. That's how it works. You make them happier and they will come. Right, so I just got to set this warehouse up. Don't do those things. It would be nice if I could kind of just clear all, to be honest, but... Oh, I actually can, kind of. Right, so this is just for grain and bread. Probably more grain than bread, let's say. It's going to take them a long while to build this clay pit as well, but it's always fun to watch nonetheless. Oh, we did indeed get a fresh wave of migrants as well. We're nearly up to the 300 capacity that I had kind of set, in fact. Which will stress out our food production. But it's improving. It is improving. It is not improved, but it is improving. Okay, yeah, so this Auroch pasture is not very good. Is not very good at all. I may want to relocate my Auroch pasture. Probably down here, where I made that Balticrawler breeder. Let's make an Auroch pasture down here. Probably a little bit bigger than that. They do have to be pretty big. Should we make it maximum big, in fact? I'm making it interestingly shaped instead of maximum big. That's how we do things here. There we go. I'm probably going to end up making a intermediary warehouse down here. Oh, that hauler finished, yeah. So I can say... How can I do this? It has... I can tell them to fetch one item, okay? Interesting. How much storage does it actually have? Capacity of 80, okay. So I think what I want to do is build one of those, you know, considerably larger. Like that. And another like that. Get rid of that small one that I built. And then we will say, take meat. Take meat. Back from our farms down here. A problem we will have here, actually, is that our workers have a long way to commute, basically. I'm sure that that's... Yeah, there you go, commute. Usually this is the distance the employees home, but some workers need to leave the city during their workday, blah, blah, blah. Today, 94%, so I don't I think 100% is probably the aim there, right? I would assume. Right, so this now hauls meat, I guess. Yeah, meat arrived there, presumably from the Balticrawler breeder. I assume. You know what they say about assuming. I'll be able to tell more easily when there's actually more being produced in the vicinity. Can I set up their radius? Yes, I can. Okay, that's what I probably need to do is... Yeah. So, but will that radius mean... Pull source? Pull from another storage site? No. Not what I want to do. I'm assuming that... this radius is for their kind of source, but maybe also where they will take it to? Or do they just store the things from their source? Okay, I can learn this by doing. If I set the radius to cover just these two farms, then I think that the workers for this hauler will get meat whenever it's available at the farms and take it to, or rather, and then the warehouse operatives will come and get the meat within their radius. Yeah, that's what I'm going to assume. Yes, okay. Right, what are our kind of problems at the moment? We are just barely making enough food, but that is a problem that will, in theory, get better with time. People are leaving. Not sure why exactly. They don't like the roads that we have at the moment, because mainly that's nothing. Fair enough. Once we get the clay pit up, that will improve, because the roads that they like are made out of clay. But we don't really have enough meat to support more people, so I shouldn't be hoping for that to happen too quickly. This is now actually producing 33 meat per day. So, yeah, for the same... Well, for one more animal, it's making far more meat. So, yeah, the moisture is making a big difference on the Balticrawler front. Thankfully. So this is the one that hauls clay from the clay pit across the way. Very good. And we'll take it... Well, no. I'm once again misunderstanding how the haulers work. It will haul it there, and then that will be taken by the warehouse workers, I think. Okay, we have a load of grain now, so let's do something with it by making a bakery, which I'm just going to attach directly to this warehouse, because why not? And we'll just pop some big old ovens on either side of this kind of adjoining wall here. Actually, might as well just build those all the way to the back. The internal storage can be pretty wimpy, I'm going to say. Can fit another oven in there, why not? If you can, you probably should. There we go. So that will give us some additional food. Oops, let's actually go ahead and just put another door on the side there. we don't have that much of a workforce right now outside of, you know, people in specialized jobs, I mean. So a lot of construction is taking a while because we only have 25 people kind of available to just do, well, they're called odd jobbers in this game, people who do, you know, the other stuff, the non-specialized labor. And a lot of people are kind of held up in jobs that aren't doing anything, so I should probably make some adjustments there. Like, our wood storage is full, so I don't need both of the woodcutters as staffed as they currently are. There we go, we're finally going to get this new Auroch pasture built. It's going to take quite a long time for it to actually become productive, but I will then build down here a tailor to make clothes with the Auroch leather so that I can make the people happier by giving them clothes. Alright, we've started making some bread as well. It's making apparently 130 a day, but that's only if it can be fed 130 grain per day, which we are definitely not making. There is no chance. And that's also employing 26 people, which is quite a lot. Right, I really need to get more people here, to be honest. Let's drop down another shrine, because there's not quite enough access to Aminon praying. You know how it is. I just really like watching them work, but my dog wants my attention, so I think I'm going to have to call this one to a close and see what she wants. Hopefully I can make more of this and make this a thing. I enjoy playing these games, but I'm currently not really, you know, knowledgeable enough to make it into my normal kind of content. Because I just end up having multiple failed runs, you know how it is. So, you know, I want to use this as an opportunity to make some nice, relaxing, chilled content for you to either just have on in the background or sleep to, preferably, because then you're not listening to the stupid things I'm saying, whilst kind of learning these games that I want to put more time into and want to make good content with, but I don't feel knowledgeable enough to do that in my current state. Anyway, you understand, so thanks for watching. Hopefully another of my videos also plays now. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Until next time, stay asleep and remain indoors. If you're sleeping outside, then, well, I hope that's what you want to do. Goodbye.